As part of the vacuum video, I intended to talk more about some of the attachments, but it totally slipped my mind, so here we are in another video. So to recap, I used a Ridgid shop vac for about 10 years, and early in 2025 augmented that with a Festool CT MIDI. So a dust extractor to go along with the shop vac. So not exactly the same thing, and I'm not using them exactly the same way. Anyway, the shop vac has the hard plastic 2.5-inch hose. It's fine. I added a handle here. This is a Rockler handle. Totally highly recommended. Definitely a good addition. Because otherwise you're just holding the hose to vacuum. It comes with a number of attachments, including 2 pieces to make a wand. I put these together like 10 years ago when I got it. I have never been able to get these apart. It's occasionally something I wish I could do to just have a better reach with the pieces, but they are stuck good. So I consider that kind of a negative. I wish I could get them apart easily. I could just buy another section, I'm sure, and that would be helpful. Oh well. So I had tried to help improve the Ridgid shop vac by getting the auto detailing kit. It's a fine thing, totally worth the 25 bucks. Comes with a bunch of attachments, including a smaller hose, 1.25 inch, I think, hose. And it's a great length to be able to, pull around the workbench, and much easier than the 2.5 inch. It's still not a great hose. It's not the most flexible, and it's definitely heavy, and the bumps in the ribs get caught on things, and so it's not perfect. The 27mm hose that comes with the Festool vac is great. I mentioned this in the other video, how much easier the end turns and the attachments fit on, and it's much more flexible, and the fabric covering is fantastic. Again, a great improvement. I wanted to get a floor vacuuming solution to go with it. Festool sells kit, I don't remember the name of it, but with the various pieces to make a floor sweep. A couple of extensions, 3 extensions, and an elbow, and the foot here. I decided not to get that kit and instead step up to the tradesman kit, I believe it's called. I think that's what it says. Maybe it's not even on here. Anyway, I went with this because it includes the larger 36mm hose. One day I hope to add a track saw. I think a powered hand planer would be something I would find useful. Who knows what else. And the larger hose will do a better job of extracting things. The Shaper Origin recommends the 36-inch hose, and I'd like to get one of those too. So a number of things use the larger hose, and the hose it's cheaper to get the hose and the attachments in this tradesman kit than to end up buying the pieces separately. And as it turns out, this end here fits over my cheap Craftsman sander, so this was kind of necessary for an easy adaptation. Not to say the 27mm hose couldn't be adapted; it could, but since I have this, I can just put it together. Here's a closer look at the hoses: the 2.5-inch Ridgid shop vac hose, the Ridgid car accessory kit hose, the 27mm Festool, and the 36mm Festool. I believe the internal diameter of the Ridgid and the smaller Festool are about the same. The car accessory hose here tapers quite a bit, and so then you can see more of what it's doing. The flexibility of the Festool hose is definitely worth it. Comparing it to the 36 is not as flexible. It's a little more stiff, but it's still pretty great. The the end is also very easy to swivel, and it's a good hose. And like I said, I kind of needed it to fit on my sander, and as it turns out, it's actually a much better solution for just vacuuming the floor. If you look at the end of the handheld wand here, the 27 millimeter actually fits inside of it. And so what that means is when you're sweeping up stuff, it has to squish from the outside diameter to the inside here. And I find things get stuck there all the time. So that's a little annoying. Enter the 36 millimeter hose, which fits over and solves that problem. Stuff simply doesn't get stuck in this. And so that makes it work a lot better. So if I'm spending the money, what of this stuff is worthwhile? Well, the Ridgid shop vac, of course, comes with all the accessories you need. So that's great. But I would still absolutely recommend the Ridgid car cleaning accessory kit for this hose, this thinner hose, because it's much easier to use around the shop to just move around and clean things up. It's like $30 for the box with all sorts of other wands and stuff in it, and that's a pretty good deal. Look at some of the other brands, like the DeWalt car cleaning kit is like $60. So the $30 for the Ridgid one is a good deal. Ridgid, and it looks like others, don't really make like a 1 1/4 inch or so wand for cleaning the floor and stuff. So you're kind of stuck with the larger 2.5 inch, which is okay. It's just the big difference between the Festool and the Ridgid stuff is just how much more flexible, that is, movable, flexible, the hoses are for the Festool, and so it's easier to use. And I think that's really where the Festool does start to show its value, in that it's more flexible and easier to use. Like, it lays on the bench more easily without sliding off. And all those little niceties that it offers just makes it a much better experience to use. And at least for me, I'm more willing to just keep things clean a little better. My floor is still covered with sawdust and some wood shavings, so I'm sure I could be better. For the Festool stuff, the standard cleaning kit is $122, and that includes the wand and the extensions and those pieces to be able to clean your floor or whatever. And given that it comes in a sustainer, if you see value in having the sustainer to keep things together and organized, I think that's probably a fair deal. $50 or $60, figure $50 or $60 for the parts, and then another $60 for the sustainer, and that doesn't seem like a bad deal. That's okay. If you're looking to step up to the larger 36 millimeter hose, the costs are a little more difficult to swallow. The tradesman kit with the 36 millimeter hose and the organization stuff looks like it goes for $260. So yeah, a huge jump over the 120 for the standard kit. But the 36 millimeter hose by itself is $207. So if you end up buying the standard cleaning kit and then later the 36 millimeter hose for the tools that need it, you end up spending a total of $330. So buying the tradesman kit saves $60 right away. So that's a nice deal, right? Save $60. I think the question is really if you expect to make use of that larger hose. If you have or are planning to add some of the larger tools that can benefit from it, the track saws, the K-Pex, I'm definitely not going to get one of those. Hand planers, even vacuuming the floor, like I said, stuff won't get stuck in the hose. It's probably worth jumping into that. But I still have a lot of trouble saying that this stuff is actually worthwhile. The vacuum itself is definitely worth the money, I feel, especially in how much it makes me more likely to clean. But the accessories, the tradesman kit here, and just the price of the hose is tough to swallow. But if you're going to get into the Festool line, you got to pay that tax, right? So, is it worth it? Yeah. All right. If there are questions, speak up. Thanks for watching.